Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Rose and Ben Show. And once again, I'm Cade Kennedy filling in. I don't know where Ben is. I
Well,
thought we would have found him by now, Rose, but we still can't
he's,
find him.
he's pretty sneaky. Got to watch him. But we're hoping he'll be back next week. And if not, you'll have to put up with us.
I guess so. I mean, we're just going to stay here until we get told to, until Ben tells us to go away, I
That's
guess.
right. He'll come back then if we threaten that.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. If we threaten to just take the station over, I'm sure he'll let us go in peace or whatever we need to do. But folks, we have a wonderful show today, and it's kind of crazy to think about, Rose. Before we fully get into it, what is the weather we're having? It's 50 degrees and it's May.
Yeah.
What are we doing? It was snowing in the Panhandle yesterday. I mean, I don't know what we're doing.
I don't know either. We thought we might get a freeze, but we didn't at all last night. It didn't even get down in the 30s.
No, I mean, I saw that frost advisory come up, and I was just like, what are we doing? It's summertime. It's the last week of school. It's finals week up at Northwestern. This is supposed to be the get ready for summer. It's starting to get 80s, 90s. Hopefully not 100s. Hopefully we can stay away from that as long as possible. But
Right.
And you wake up outside and it's cloudy and it's 50.
Yes.
And it's like, this is no weather to go to work in. But,
Remember, we live in Oklahoma.
oh, I know. We can wake up tomorrow and it'd be a blizzard and a tornado and an earthquake all in the same day.
Let's hope not.
Well, yeah, I hope we never get to that. But, Rose, we've got an amazing show today. We've
Yes,
got
we
three
do.
different guests coming on today, or three different groups of guests, I should say, all
Yes.
different places. And we've got some friends from the Northwestern Technology Center on today, I
We
believe.
do. And I was just talking to these girls. That Technology Center is one of the best kept secrets in Alva, Oklahoma. And they're going to be here to talk about a fantastic program that they own. And I'm here with Brenna Kopitz and Casey Adair. And they're saying now it's the Career Tech program, and I'll maybe let them talk about that a little bit more. But I'm going to pass this to Brenna, and I want her to tell us what she teaches and what it consists of at the Alva Technical Career School.
All right, hello. So I am an instructor for the Biomedical Sciences program at the Career Tech, and our program is designed to help juniors and seniors decide if they want to pursue a career in the biomedical sciences field. So they come to us as juniors, and we get to teach science in a very fun, hands-on, investigative approach. The students get to look at crime scene investigations. They take on the role of different medical professionals, different types of doctors. They get to get different case studies and make diagnoses based on symptoms. They also get to look at epidemiology. And so there's an outbreak at a hospital, and they have to decide, well, what are the symptoms? What's causing this disease? How are we going to treat this disease? And so we get to teach science in a way that's very interesting, very relevant, and we're in the lab a lot. And so the students so for instance, with the epidemiology section, when they learn about these patients and what their symptoms are, they get their samples. And so they get to swab their samples in the lab, grow what's in the samples, and then they have to perform different tests to identify what the disease is. And so when we learn about crime scene investigations, they get to go into an actual crime scene and look at fingerprint analysis, DNA analysis, hair samples, blood spatter. And so what makes the biomed program different is the curriculum that we get to teach. It's very non-traditional, so they're not just hearing a lecture and taking a test. They get to really have ownership over what they're learning. They get to explore. They develop really good critical thinking skills because we challenge them to use their resources to find out information rather than just providing what they should know. So the goal by the end of their junior year is they have an idea, is this what I want to go into, or is this not for me? Which is okay too, right? It's better to figure that out as a junior in high school than a junior in college. And so if they like the course, if they decide that's the path they want to take, then they get to come back as a senior and take biomedical 2. So I will let Mrs. Adair talk about that.
All right, good morning. I get to teach the seniors, which I love because this is the step right before college. It's an exciting time. And hopefully, if they take me, it's because they really, really love science and they want to be in the medical career. So my class is actually called medical intervention. So we actually learn about the interventions with science of like, how do we diagnose different illnesses, diseases, and how do we treat them? And so that's really fun because it's a little bit of a different thing that you wouldn't normally get in a science class. And so we talk about like antibiotics, like how do you make antibiotics? What was the process that went through? Different vaccinations. Where did the vaccinations come from? How do we get them? And then we've learned about organ transplants. If your organs fail, how do we diagnose that? And then how do we treat that? What happens if we can't treat it? Do you get a transplant? We actually did a whole lesson over prosthetics, which was super interesting. We actually, to go back with the organ thing, we actually learned that there's a whole black market for organ transplants, which is so crazy. We watched like the scariest video over like the black market. If you need a kidney, how do you get one? If you can't go the traditional route, there's a whole market for it. It's crazy. But this is a great, again, hands-on. It's very different than a normal science class. But we focus on getting our seniors ready for the next step, which is amazing.
Okay. Now, if I'm a kid in school and how do I know that I want to take this class? What do I say? I want to take a science class? How do you sell this?
So they come out to the Career Tech as a sophomore and they tour all of our programs. And if they're interested in the biomedical program, they actually have to send in a placement form. And so they fill out some questions. Why do you want to take this program? Why are you interested in the biomedical sciences field? They also have to send in a teacher recommendation. And so our numbers have grown tremendously over the last several years, and we're just running out of space in the classroom. And so we're really wanting to make sure we're reaching those kids who need this.
Okay, a couple of questions. At what grade can they take this? And also about what is the size of your classroom?
So they can take Biomed 1 as a junior, and then they can take Biomed 2 as a senior. Sometimes we have seniors that couldn't make Biomed 1 fit into their program, and so they can actually come back as a senior, but a first-year student, but we do allow them to take Biomed 2. And so class size, originally we had the classroom set up where we would take as many seats as we had, which was about 22 to 24. And when Casey,
pretty good size class.
It is, yes. And so it's set up in 12 classroom table seats, and then we have 12 lab seats. When Casey came on board 2 years ago, I realized that we weren't able to work in the labs as efficiently as I wanted to as a teacher.
Okay, you're speaking lab. Do you have a lab?
Yes, we have a lab. So we've got 4 tables set up. We've got lab chairs. We have incubators. We have hoods for chemicals. We've got sinks. We have gas outlets. We have really anything that we could possibly need to meet our curriculum needs. And so, but what I realized was, like for dissections, I couldn't walk around to each student and ask the questions I wanted to ask when I had 24 in the classroom. And so we decided to split it up into 2 sections in the morning with a max of about 14 kids. And we saw some great results. Our test scores have been phenomenal. We have gotten some really great test scores. We're able to make those student connections a little bit better, the student relationships. You can actually interact with each child throughout the class. So it was a really great choice. And so that gives us the opportunity for 2 sessions in the morning and 1 session in the afternoon. And because of that, we did have to go to kind of a application process. And so it just helps us make sure we're getting kids in the right program for them. So that's kind of the approach we have at the moment.
You have a question? question.
Well, Rose, these are one of my favorite type interviews. You're the one just asking all the questions. I don't have to say. Well, listen, I'm a communications major. Once we start talking about biomed stuff like that, that's above my level. It goes through one ear and out the other sometimes. But what I did hear is all that giant lab in there and all that fun stuff. You mentioned dissecting and things like that. What all are some of the fun things y'all have been able to do in that lab?
Oh man. Okay. So for instance, when we learn about the cardiovascular system, the students learn about the structures of the heart, the flow of the blood, and then we get to go into the lab and dissect a pig heart. So they get to see the structures, what they should look like on a healthy specimen. And then a couple days later, we learn about different types of disorders, heart disorders. And so after they get their foundation of what these diseases are, we go into the lab, we give them a patient card, and then they have a heart that has a disorder within it. And so it's their job to use their research, to use what they see in the organ, to use the patient's symptoms to determine what happened to that patient. So we also get to look at kidneys. So we just finished the urinary system. They get to dissect a kidney. The kidneys are beautiful, you can say that. They've got triple dye, so they're able to see what parts are associated with urine, what parts are associated with the veins and the arteries. They get to take on the role of a urologist. And so they came in one day and I've got urine samples set up on the table. And they have, again, patients associated with each urine sample. And they have to figure out what's going on with them based on their urine test. Let's see, what are some other fun ones we get to do? We get to look at lungs.
Brain.
Oh, yes. Brain. Yep, we get to look at the sheep brain. As seniors, they get to do a fetal pig dissection. And so by the time they make it to college and they're entering zoology or anatomy and physiology, we've been told by instructors at the college level that the biomed kids are just prepared. They're not intimidated by the lab. They're not intimidated by the instruments they have to use or the dissections, because it can be a little squeamish if you've not been in that setting before. And they're just ready. They're able to take it to the next learning step and really dive into the curriculum.
You know, this is really fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
I was at the awards assembly yesterday and thoroughly impressed with the amount of things that are going on out there. When did you start this? You may have told me that. When did you start this biomedical program again?
I don't know the exact date, but I believe it had been going for about 5 years when I came in, and I've been doing it for about 7 years.
Okay.
So, about 12 years.
How has your enrollment? Is it growing steadily?
Oh, yes, very much so. It kind of ebb and flows when you look at class sizes as a whole, but we have had full classrooms for probably the past 4 years that I've been here. So.
Okay, tell us some more. Any more thing else that we have failed to ask? I'm like Kate, I'm ignorant. But tell us some more things that we haven't asked.
One of the things that students, when they come out, they don't really realize that they get to be a part of is we actually have a student organization called HOSA, and it's for like future health careers. And we actually get to compete, and we have a state level. And then if they do well at the state level, they actually get to go to an international level. And that is the super fun thing that they get to do. We actually didn't have anybody qualify this year, but last year, I actually got to take some kids to Nashville for that. But HOSA, we do different content tests. So nutrition or different types of development. There's leadership tests, there's speech, writing, lab skills, interview skills, critical thinking skills. So there's a ton of different things that they can choose to test from. And they will take a test, we'll get the results. And then if they pass basically the first round, we get to take them to the state competition, which was right around Easter weekend for us. So we took a group of, I don't remember, maybe 10 or so that qualified and got to go compete at state. And like I said, we didn't have anybody qualify for internationals this year because it's very, very tough competition. But we we had so many that did amazing this year. But that's something that kind of gets overlooked, that we have a student organization. Every career category at the Tech Center has their own student organization, which is kind of cool. And we all get to compete in different areas. So that's been really fun for our students.
When the students come out to take biomed, they will get 3 science credits as a junior and a math credit. So they take 2 what are called Project Lead the Way science courses. They take an anatomy and physiology course, and then they take Algebra 2 or Trig. So a lot of students like that they can come out for a 3-hour block and get a big chunk of the required credits they need to graduate.
Oh my, you girls are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Like I say, this is the best kept secret, I think, in Alva, Oklahoma. And I applaud you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. The only other question I have is, I mean, where all can a biomed program take you? I mean, it sounds like you've mentioned some of the other college classes and degrees you can get in that. Where all can this program go?
So it's definitely designed to get them ready for some sort of a biology career. However, what a lot of our students will do is they take biomed as a junior, and then they may go on to our health careers program. Has our health careers presented yet or come onto the radio yet with Mrs. Meyer?
I don't think so.
Okay, so what they get to do there is they pick a specialty that they can get certifications in. So maybe they want to go into phlebotomy. So she gets them set up for that. They can do CNA classes. There's just a lot of different certifications and trainings that they can actually get through her course. Our course is primarily focused on just getting them ready to rock those higher level science classes when they go to college, to give them the research skills, the lab skills, the critical thinking skills. Mainly the overall thing is the confidence to tackle a science degree, because it's hard, right? And we're seeing a lot of students going to college, they don't feel prepared, they switch their major. And the reality is we need these students in the medical field.
Folks, it's been a fun morning. We said we'd have a busy morning. Britta Kopitz and Casey Adair, thank you so much for your time here at the Northwest Technology Center, which is now the Career Tech. I mean, that's still weird to think about. I've always just, go to the VOTech. It's the VOTech. Now it's the Career Tech. I have to. That's going to be the hardest thing to remember now. But ladies, thank you so much for your time.
And you're doing a great job. Maybe we'll have you back.
Yes, thank you. We love it.
We'll have to at some point. I mean, there's so much going on out there. We have to keep the door rotating with guests.
You ought to go. And be out. I was out there yesterday for their boards. I couldn't believe it. It's the best kept secret, and it's a good secret. It's a good thing.
It really is. Folks, we'll take a quick break and be right back, and we'll switch topics completely here on the Rose and Ben Show.
It's Rose and Ben on KALV. Let's talk about your future. Are you looking for a career change or possibly training in computers, health careers, automotive, cosmetology, digital design, electrical trades, welding, or biomedical sciences? At Northwest Technology Center, we offer these programs for adults, high school, and homeschool students from Alene Clio, Alva, Canton, Cherokee, Fairview, Freedom, Ringwood, and Winoka. Call to enroll today at 580-327-0344 in Alva or 580-227-3708 in Fairview. Northwest Technology Center is preparing students for success in education, careers, and life. This is Rose and Ben on KALV.
Welcome back to the Rose and Ben Show. As I said, we're going to switch things up completely now. We have a biomed program. That's a little bit too high level for me. That requires a lot of thinking, a lot of concentration. We're going to have something I can actually talk about, and that's sports. So we've brought in the head volleyball coach of Northwestern Oklahoma State, John Big Gesser, a guy that, I remember the day he got hired. I went and interviewed him for the student paper. So someone I've grown to know well over the 4 years. John, how are you doing today?
Having me on here, and I remember that day too, and it's crazy to think that was 4 years ago.
It is crazy to think about. John, you came from, it was Highlands Community College at the time. You built up a wonderful program there. You were named on the 30 under 30, the AVCA, that's the American Volleyball Coaches Association, for the 99.9% of people who don't know what that is, but just kind of talk a little bit about it. It was a more injury-plagued season last year, rougher season you've had to go through here, but kind of talk about how the spring's been going through. We talked about it with Coach Carla Briscoe at soccer, that I think most people don't really know there is a spring season to volleyball.
That's the thing. Like, once our season is over, the best part is the spring season, because it really kind of gives you a chance, no matter how your season went, good or bad or indifferent, you've got something to look forward to immediately. And it's especially a good resource for our freshmen who get thrown into the mix right away in the fall. Sometimes it is a little overwhelming to go straight from high school to all of a sudden you move in and then you're expected to, compete in an actual competitive season right away. And sometimes that can be a little overwhelming. And so to have the spring season is really a chance to break everything down, have a little bit more of an intimate practice style where we can focus more on technical things as well as the things that I feel like we could really improve on going forward into the next fall. And it's great for not just a freshman, but for everybody.
I mean, it's great for you as well. You get another opportunity to evaluate the kids, see where everyone's at. Talk about the spring season a little bit, where you went and how it went.
Well, we had 4 play dates. We had 2 at home and 2 on the road. We played Dodge City here at home as well as Pratt. We went on the road to Labette Community College, where we played Coffeyville and Labette. And then we went up to Barton for our final scrimmage, where we played Barton, Southwest College out of Winfield, Kansas, and then Dodge City again. And the spring season was great. There were a couple dates that we had where we didn't drop a set, and that was really nice to see. And some people who actually came and watched us play had made a comment of, where was this team during the season? And I mean, no shade against our team current or anything like that, but like I said, the spring really gives a chance for people to kind of get re-comfortable and kind of build deeper expectations. And so I saw all of that happen during our spring tournaments, especially against Barton Community College. Going up there and playing them was a big deal because they're one of the top programs in all of junior college volleyball. And I'm going to say it right now, I wouldn't be surprised if that team plays in the national championship next year. They were great. And to see us do, what we did with them, it was really, just kind of put things at ease going into the summer, and knowing that that's what we have now, sprinkled with the girls we have coming in next year. I'm really looking forward to it.
I mean, talk about the season coming up. It's hard to think. It's the same conversation we had last week here. It's going to be August. It's going to be August soon enough. Crazy. I mean, it's the last week right now. You had to teach a class even. I mean, you were telling me the other day about you were having to give your final. That's where you were. I didn't think he would remember that he was going to be on today, so I kept walking into his office he doesn't have his light on. His jacket's there. He's not here.
I was making Cade sweat a little bit,
And so I had to text him and just, hey, reminder, you are on the air today, because if you don't, then I don't know what we're going to do. We've built in a certain amount of time for you, but thankfully you did remember.
You could find someone off the street, I'm sure, interview a random.
I don't know if we want to do that, John, sometimes. Sometimes the people who walk around here are good guests, and sometimes there was a guy one day, I'll tell this story. I was up here by myself setting the equipment up, and this guy came out and stood right by my car. And he wasn't looking at my car. He was just staring at the road. And he'd just make hand signals to people. I didn't know what was going on, so I had to wait for him to walk all the way down to the edge of the highway before I wanted to get into my car. It was one of the crazier, and keep in mind, it's like 6 in the afternoon, or evening, I guess. 6 in the afternoon doesn't make much sense. 6 in the evening, I'm just like, I just need to get out of here. Everything is ready to go for tomorrow. I just need to go.
He probably didn't know where he was either.
Yeah, that could be the case. But, I mean, talk about the season ahead a little bit. You've got some fun tournaments. You're going to be going up to Joplin. You're going to take a trip out to Las Vegas of the New Mexico variety, not the one we all know.
I know. Everyone got excited when they saw that on our calendar, and I was like, New Mexico, Las Vegas, New Mexico. And they're all like, oh, okay. But yeah, we've got some good pre-conference tournaments. So the way our season kind of works is the first 3 weekends of the season, we go to tournaments, and usually we'll play non-conference teams as well as maybe some regional games, so like some MIAA competition, maybe some NSIC, but then also too you get some competition that's outside of your region as well, which is really good because it gives the girls and myself a chance to kind of gauge where we are in comparison to other regions of the United States. It's kind of cool. This year we're going east to Joplin, and then the next weekend we're going west to New Mexico, and then the third weekend we're going north to Kearney, Nebraska. And so we kind of are hitting all the directions there. And then once our preseason tournaments are over, that's when we'll start full-on conference play.
And that Kearney tournament's a bit interesting because they're usually a pretty fun team to have to go up against. And I mean, they liked having you up there so much they're willing to pay for you guys to come up there, is what you were telling me.
You know what? We'll take it, but I'm excited about it because it's going to give us, like I said, a chance to kind of see where we match up with one of the top teams, not only in the MIAA, but in the nation entirely. Kearney's a really good program who is, perpetually at the national tournament, and it's going to be really good to see us compete with them early. And then also we've got a tough schedule next year. It's a good balance of teams that are really going to test us, and then teams that we should be able to figure some things out on our own and execute against, but then also a chance to just build an identity for this upcoming season.
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned some of those MIAA games you're going to be going up against. You'll have some of those non-cons sprinkled throughout the season as well. Trip to Newman. You have Pitt State coming to town, which I know that's a big one for you. That's your alma mater.
That's exciting. I know. And we've only played them one time in my 4 years here, and we lost in multiple sets to them. And so I kind of want to, seek some revenge against them. And especially because it is the school that I went to college at. And I love Pittsburgh dearly. And so I can't wait for them to come to Alva and, maybe we can take care of business with the Gorillas.
Hopefully. I mean, that's a fun one. That's one of the ones I'm looking forward to the most. But John, just talk a little bit about the team you have coming up this year. I mean, we've talked about a little bit. You're excited about the recruiting class you got coming, your transfers coming in as well. Talk about what we expect to see from the Rangers in 2026.
That you could probably expect to see a lot of things. For sure, you're going to see some very athletic girls, very athletic young athletes with a lot of experience and a lot of diversity. And I mean, I'm talking diversity of more than just, appearance. I'm talking like where they come from, the style of play that they have, their level of experience. And the reason why I like having such a diverse team with a wide mix of people is because everyone brings in their own flavor, and you just kind of want to pull the strengths of each one of those and bring them all together with the strengths of the ones you have, and hopefully it just chemistry-ifies, if that's even a word, to something good,
And you talk about that bringing people in from all over, and I mean there's some history there. I mean, we talked about it with Dane Campbell and Carla Briscoe. We had them on last week. Just that idea of bringing people in from around the world, not just, Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas, everyone kind of nearby, but just getting a little bit of everybody in. And I mean, you've experienced that yourself. I mean, you were a world traveler in your own right. You were sending me photos over Christmas. You were in Finland.
Yes. Obviously, if you can travel and see the world, it broadens your horizons in your mind and kind of puts a lot of things into perspective. And you can take that same philosophy and apply it to your own teams, because like I said, you bring in a kid from, France, and you get a whole new mentality, awareness level brought to you kind of understand what this type of kid is like, and then that can expose your own players, and then your own players who might have some reservations about their own selves might be like, oh, well, if she's, hitting the ball like this, maybe I can as well. Or if she has this killer mentality, maybe it's not a bad thing and I can adopt that to myself. And so it really does just open up people's perspectives. And we're going to have a pretty broad team next year of people from places. We'll have 2 girls from France, a girl from Serbia, one from Brazil coming in.
I can't believe this.
And then
Rose, this is the second time in a row I've had to do this to you, where it's like, we're just going to mention we're going to pull up a map to show you where every single person. We did this last week.
I can't believe that you're bringing to Alva, Oklahoma.
Alva, you know what? And the best part about it is that they're going to come here, and I know they'll fall in love with it because of the pace, the speed, the the peace, the serenity, tranquility. I mean, all of that stuff you can experience here in Alva. And sometimes when you come from a giant city, like one of our girls is from Serbia, and she's coming from Belgrade, which is, 2 million people, and she's from the city. I mean, never lived in the country, is coming from Garden City Community College, so not too far off. But when she came to visit here, she was just like, oh my gosh, it's so peaceful. And I'm like, get used to it, girl, because this is going to be your home, for the next 2 years. And she was really excited. And so if you can, like, wherever you're from, you can come to Alva and see the benefits that it has, and kind of just fall in and love with it.
Do you have that diverse of a population on your team now?
We do. This year we had a girl from Costa Rica who is returning next year. She's going to be a beast. We had one from France this year, and then we also had one from Turkey and one from Israel.
Phenomenal.
And a lot of our internationals do come from junior colleges, though. It's a lot easier to recruit an international if they're already here in the United States. And we're so close to Kansas. I mean, and pretty much within 2 hours of 5 junior colleges, and so we can go up there and recruit. And a lot of those girls, when you can get them on a visit, because them being so close, there's a chance for them to visit campus. And most internationals will take an offer sight unseen, so you got some girls that are going to end up in Liberal, Kansas and have no idea where it is or what's there and everything. And so if you can get them and bring them on a visit to your own campus, for a lot of them, it's their first time actually going on a true college visit, which then means a lot more to them. And then again, it gives them a chance to see what they're stepping into, and it's just a huge benefit for all of us involved.
Do they adjust pretty well?
Most of them have, yeah. Like I said, they like the pace, the speed, and you know what athlete doesn't like being a little mini celebrity, because it's a small campus. Every student is going to know they're on a sports team, and there's a huge level of camaraderie between the student athletes at Northwestern, and so when they see someone that's on a sports team, it kind of like there's that sense of relatability, and they feel like they know them even if they don't yet. So,
and I'm assuming they're accepted well.
Absolutely, we haven't had any issues in terms of that. And you know how it is nowadays, like it's so kids don't care anymore. They just want to see you play a sport and see you be good at it, and all of that good stuff.
Exactly. Folks, we're talking to head coach of the Rangers, John Bingesser, talking about Northwestern volleyball. We'll be back here in a few moments on KALV.
You're listening to Rose and Ben on KALV.
Beatles New Beginnings Nursing Center is proud to offer comprehensive care solutions for those who matter most. From rehabilitation and palliative care to skilled nursing and long-term care, Beatles is committed to providing comfort, dignity, and peace of mind. Now, with a second location, the Beatles family continues its long-standing tradition of excellence, serving the people of Northwest Oklahoma with the same compassion and dedication they've been known for. Come by and see them at 720 North Share Boulevard in Alva. Beatles New Beginnings Nursing Center, your care, your comfort, your community.
This is Rose and Ben on KALV.
Welcome back to the Rose and Ben show. Minus Ben, I still don't know where he is. We got to find him at some point, Rose. I'm getting scared a little bit.
May have to call the sheriff or something.
I mean, we talked about we didn't know if it was going to be bail bonds last week or what we were going to have to deal with. But hopefully he'll make an appearance at some point. Maybe we might have him back for chamber chat.
We haven't been summoned to bail him out yet.
That's true.
That's good news.
That's true. We have not been summoned yet. That's about the main positive for us today. We have not been summoned, but. Talking here to the head coach of Rangers volleyball, John Bingesser. And John, this is a question that I've always kind of wanted to ask you. So, why better not than ask it live on air in front of everybody?
I'm ready.
It's an interesting idea because, you're in your 30s. You're not what we'd consider an old man type of coach, kind of that older, harder style.
Not yet.
But you kind of coach that way. You're one of those, you have a lot you expect out of your players. You have a certain style you want to do. So what is kind of the challenge of, in a newer age coaching mentality for a lot of kids that they expect? What is it like kind of having to rein them back in and get back to the style you grew up with?
Well, it is kind of crazy that you. I'm
also only doing this because you call me the youngest old man every single time you talk to me.
Well, that is true, but
it is.
It is cool that you did bring that up because I have two parents who were both coaches there, like my whole life. So I grew up with that. That type of style. Like my dad was a football coach. He's actually from the time where you could play multiple sports in college. He played football, basketball, baseball, and ran track at Washburn, and coached football at Kansas Wesleyan, and was my high school football coach, and coached basketball for years and baseball. And then my mom, she played 3 sports at Kansas Wesleyan. She played volleyball, softball, and basketball. And then she was a basketball, volleyball coach my whole life. And I just always remember watching them and hearing the things that they said, and all of their teams were always good. And so I just kind of grew up with that expectation of like, it takes work to do it. And you got to push and you got to be pushed, but then also the rewards of it are so beyond, the intrinsic values of coaching and the actual rewards of winning. It's just something that has always just stuck with me, and I've been that way my whole life. But, I'm yeah, I feel young and single. I'm always going to be like 26 in my mind. So I feel like I have a pretty good, ability to relate to the kids that are going through now. And you find out that if you want to get your type of style across to people, you just have to recruit the right type of person, one that's going to be receptive to that. And you'll find that on our roster, a lot of kids are kids of coaches, or their parents worked as administrators or teachers or in the military or something like that. And in fact, I'm thinking of like 7 girls right now on our team who fall into that category. And so you just got to kind of find the ones that maybe had a similar upbringing to you, had a similar sporting experience to you, and go from there. And the match kind of puts itself together.
And how is life on the recruiting trail sometimes? Because that's something that I feel like we always talk to coaches about how is recruiting going. We don't ever talk to them about what it is like going recruiting.
It is fun. I love recruiting. One of my favorite things about living in Highland was that the high schools in the area all had volleyball. So if there was like a Tuesday night or a Thursday night, I would just get in the car and go to some high school gym and watch. And because I heard about some player who was going to be good. And here I haven't had the chance to really go out and watch high schools because they're pretty far away that have it. I mean, Enid's close and Ponca, but nothing else around does. And that's why I've really enjoyed having the JUCOs in Kansas so close, because during the season, I'll go up and watch the JUCOs play on Wednesday nights, and that's perfect because that's one of our off nights. And so I'll be able to go to Dodge City or Pratt or Garden and watch a team play up there and try to pick some players from there. And then in the off season, club is really where it's at. And I've got to go to Dallas and to Kansas City, and I actually went on a recruiting trip out to Boston to watch a player a few months ago. And it's really fun to get into the gym. And first of all, when you walk into that club gym and there's, it's a huge convention center, there's probably 100+ courts, up to 8,000 people at these tournaments. And you kind of get lost in a sea of like volleyball players and people. And the best part about it is knowing that I don't have to coach that day. I just get to go and watch and see someone who's good, reach out to them later on, try to have a phone call, get them on a visit, depending on where they're from, and just go from there.
I mean, it's one of those, you always seem like you're busy once you get into that recruiting time. It's always fun to see every single weekend, a new place, new kids you get to meet, all that fun stuff. But I'm going to do this. I did it last week. I got to switch it up and do it too again. We got to move directions here entirely. What would you say was your favorite moment of the season last year? I mean, it was a season where there were a lot of ups and downs along the way, but what would you say is one of the favorite things you experienced last year?
I would say, there was a lot, honestly. It just all kind of depends. I think probably our first day, to be honest with you, when we went out to Missouri S&T, and I didn't like this part, but it led into something really good. We had like a 5-hour gap in between games, which took forever. So we were able to go eat, go back to the hotel for a little bit, and then head back to the gym to play Missouri S&T that night. And we just rocked their world. And it was just so fun to see us play so early the way we did. And before, the universe took half the team out with injuries and things like that. But that first weekend tournament when we had our full roster together, and we looked good.
I was just going to wait for a little bit. Sometimes I do this to him where I just wait for 30 seconds and see if he thinks of something else to say to me. But, Coach, I mean, it sounds like it's going to be a fun season again this year. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited.
It's going to be a fun time. I mean, you've got a whole lot of fun trips lined up. Conference play should be fun once again. Talk about that a little bit. I mean, the Great American Conference is one of those up and down types of conferences. Someone could be in the top 3 for a year or two at a time, and then they're back in the middle, and then you have a whole reshuffling, recycling that goes on every once in a while. I mean, we've been a part of that. We've made a conference championship appearance one year, and then the next year, you're back in the middle of the pack. Next year, back on top. Everyone cycles around.
Yep. And that seems to be kind of something that everybody's aware of, especially in the volleyball community. Like I'll go to camps or go to recruiting combines, talk to coaches, and we'll talk about our conference. And they're always like, your conference is insane. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And they're not saying it's insane because our competition is just so unruly. They're saying it's insane because you really don't know, like you said, Kate, who's going to win. And to be honest, we have our cliche number ones, but like the difference between them and number 12 is literally who's going to miss the most serves when they play each other. Like it really comes down to who's going to just push that extra little nth degree in order to take the win. It'd be different in like for instance, the MIAA, you've got Kearney and Washburn who kind of just overpower everybody. And there's not a lot of hope if you're the 11th, 12th team ever, where here, it doesn't matter. Like it seems to be, it's always like the last week before the tournament is actually finalized. Like if you go to some other conferences, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the season's over, they've got their top 5 already clinched. And for us, you'll have 2 that are clinched going into the last week, and you're just kind of like, it's anybody's game right now, what the seeding's going to be. And so that I think makes our conference super challenging because every single game you have to play, because every single game you could win or lose.
Yes, every game
matters.
What a
concept.
Every game matters in the Great American Conference. It always does. Coach, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to what this season's going to be.
Absolutely. Thank you, Cade.
But, folks, we'll take another quick break. We still have one more guest who has been patiently waiting his time, and we'll get to him after this break.
It's Rose and Ben on KALV.
Alva State Bank and Trust Company, older than Oklahoma, big enough to serve you and small enough to know you.
We love to give back to our customers. Did you know Alva State Bank offers a great rewards checking account program? That's right. You can earn cash back or high interest with our Kasasa accounts. We will even refund you up to $25 in ATM fees.
How do I qualify?
It's simple. Just swipe your debit card 12 times, sign up for online statements, and have one ACH credit or debit post to your account.
Can I do it online?
Yes. Just visit our website at www.alvastatebank.com to see if our Kasasa Rewards program is right for you. We make banking easy. Whether you're at home, the office, or in your car, our online or mobile banking options help you juggle busy schedules and financial needs.
We plant roots where others have branches.
Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
This is Rose and Ben on KALV.
Welcome back to the Rose and Ben Show. Still trying to find Ben. We'll find him one day. I have to keep saying it in case he somehow is listening and makes an appearance in the last 15 minutes of the show. But we have the, I don't want to say wild card guest of the day, but I feel like we've got Brandon Bushman here with us today.
Hello.
Of Bushman Heat and Air. And I mean, Brandon, Hi. Just talk a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, thank you. Bushman Heat and Air. So we do heating and air, refrigeration, commercial and residential. Everything from just cleaning your unit, changing filters, changing batteries in your thermostat to full on remodels and new builds. So we do everything out there. We currently have several commercial projects going on, so that's pretty exciting. What we really like to do is our motivation is just to give back to the community. So we try to keep our overhead low. We try to make sure that we can just provide good service, good prices, and just be there for the customers. You know, obviously everybody does it for the money. You got to make a living, but at the same time, we try to give back as much as we can to the communities that we are in. And like we had talked about recently, we just moved up to Kiowa. And so my wife and I, we're in Kiowa, and we have a shop up there now, and kind of expanded up into Barber County. It makes it a little bit easier just because it's really hard to find licensed employees that want to move this far out west.
You said something about commercial. Is that something you can talk about?
Yeah, sure. The bank that's out here that's being built, Farm Credit. Yeah.
Oh, the new?
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's something that we're going to be doing. Alva Wesleyan is building a new building, and that is something that we're going to be doing here in the next few months. And
okay.
So I have 4 employees that work for me.
Oh,
and
you
so,
do?
Yes. And so we try really hard to get to everybody the day that they called.
Okay.
It is difficult, you know, because Oklahoma is so, you don't know if you need your heater or you don't, you know, your air conditioner. So we might get a heater call and an air conditioning call in the same day. So it is challenging with the weather the way it is, but
and you're Amelia?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm going to give you the microphone. Tell us a little bit what's going on here.
Well, thank you for having us. I don't know if Brandon was sharing, but it's the season where you need to start getting your AC prepped and ready for the hot temperatures. This week, like he said, we've had heater calls and AC calls, so that's just the nature of where we're at. But we do have service plans where you can sign up for $16 a month, and that means that we'll come out to your house twice a year. You also get discounts on if there is any repairs that need to happen throughout the year. You get 5%. We also have a premium service plan that's $22 a month, and with that you get 10% off of any repairs through the year. So if you are someone who takes care of your equipment, like you take care of your car, you go in and have your oils changed, preventative maintenance is where you need to be and sign up for service plans. And he has, you know, history of units that were well taken care of and they lasted longer. And then he goes to see units that they're dirty, people don't change their filters, and the life of that unit is short-lived, unfortunately, just because of how you care for it. So he's really big on preventative maintenance, taking care of it before it becomes an issue.
I'm going to go right home and change my filter.
Yes, do that.
Yeah, it is actually really funny sometimes. I'm not throwing shade to anybody, but you'll get a call, you know, and they say something's not working, and you say, well, did you change your air filter? And they say, yeah. And then you come in, and the air filter's just clogged, filthy, and it's set next to their trash can.
So if you're someone who doesn't like to change your filter, that's part of the service plan. If you have filters, we'll come and we'll switch them out for you.
Do you that service plan again? You said something about once or twice a month?
Well, you sign up and you pay monthly. But with that service, we will come out 2 times a year. We will prep you for the summer and do a washout and take care of your unit for summer months.
That's included?
Mm-hmm. This
Yes,
is all
ma'am.
included with the price. And then in the fall and winter, we'll come out and we'll do a winter prep, and we'll make sure your unit is. So a basic service plan is only $16 a month. And if you think about what the cup of coffee is that you stop by and grab, or the meal out, it's very reasonable. And so it is a monthly program that you sign up with. And there's just a lot of benefits because we'll change the filters if you have them. We'll check over to make sure your units running properly so that you don't have any big headaches when it's July and it's hot and something goes wrong. And we will also give our clients on the service plan priority service. It's kind of like a loyalty program.
Yeah.
And with that, you have rewards. So if you're someone who we service your unit and it is, I would hate to say this, but it's the 4th of July and your unit goes down,
you'll come in.
You're going to have somebody out.
Middle of the night?
Yeah,
Well-
I'll come out in the middle of the night.
And this has been something with our family of like, okay, man, I know you appreciate your clients, but you have to say no sometimes. So that's why we have employees that can help fill in, so he doesn't have to be the one that goes out all the time.
And that is a part of the service plan as well. It helps mitigate a lot of those emergency calls that a person has to have that is on the 4th of July or in the middle of the night. But yes, I have traveled at 1 o'clock in the morning to fix an air conditioner. But I just, like I said, we really enjoy the community. We like Alva. We like these small communities around. We're both from small towns and small schools. So we just have a heart for this, just everybody out here. So,
I'm still just trying to comprehend the idea of getting a call in the 1 a.m. and having to run out there and do that. I mean, if I get calls in the 1 a.m, that's usually, I don't know. Can we talk about this later?
It was 11 o'clock. I was out till 1 in the morning.
Okay. So. That's a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Well, and I'll tell you, for instance, and this is why I do it. There was a lady that she called, and I'd just taken my boots off. It was like 8:30 in the wintertime. She said, we smell raw gas. And I said, well, did you call the... And I didn't answer. I recognized the phone. I did kind of recognize the phone. And so I called her back. And she said, we smell raw gas. I said, well, did you call ONG? She said, no. And I said, well, if it's raw gas, you might call ONG. She goes, okay, we can do that in the morning. I said, well, just hold on. Let me put my boots on. I'll get over there. So I go over there, and that thing was the heat exchanger. It was a wall furnace, and the heat exchanger had cracked, and it was blowing fire around the manifold, and it was cherry red, and the carbon monoxide in that house, they'd have gone to sleep, they wouldn't have woke up the next day. And so it's things like that it's just, do you have to go out at 8:30 or 9? No, but I really do want to service the community the best that we can. And like I said, that's part of what the service plan is for, is to mitigate some of those things. Because we could have checked on that and we'd have known that was having an issue before that happened. And so not only does the service plan, is it beneficial because it'll keep your units running longer and more efficiently, but the capacitors that they make now, they don't last very long. You might get 2 or 3 years out of them. And when those go bad, you start getting windings hot in your motors, which would be your condenser fan motor, your blower motor, your compressor. And that shortens the life of all of those things, And so if you can change a capacitor, then it saves you spending, several $100s for a condenser fan motor or more on a blower motor. So
just trying to think again. I mean, just all the things you do for the community and helping out. Just talk about that a little bit more.
Well, that is one thing that we do like to do, and we haven't set a date for this year, but we give away a free unit each year, and we try to have a customer appreciation day and feed our customers and just let them know that they are appreciated and that we do appreciate the community that we're in. And so what we do is usually I ask the Lord, hey, who needs a unit this year? And so I think one year it was right up to a few months before. And I said, hey, I know who we have to give the unit to. And so just being able to help somebody that, their units, the nickeling and diming them, and we're able to come in and...
What's the approximate cost on a new unit nowadays? I don't have any idea.
Well, because of tariffs...
I'm probably going to need to sit in.
Yeah, really it is. Ever since COVID, the increase on my cost has gone up somewhere around 150%.
150%.
150% since COVID. Just tariffs have been bad, here lately.
So
and
what is that going to cost you if I call up and say I need a new unit? Approximately.
Well, we have multiple options.
I understand that,
we have some more economical options that
Can start around 6.
yeah, you can get something for $6,000, $6,500 depending on the size of your unit,
That's
of course.
on the low end.
Yeah, that would be one of our economy.
$6,500.
Yes, ma'am.
That's probably where it starts.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And so then again, I try to keep everything reasonable because
Yes.
I don't think a person should have to go take a lean on their house to get a air conditioner. But we have some really high efficiency units. Rheem I sell a lot of Rheem, and they have some really high efficiency units that have come out, and they're very marketable and a really good price. And so with a full installation, I think it's somewhere around. Yeah. So.
Okay. Sounds good. It looks like we're getting close to the sign-off time.
It does. Rose, I'm going to save you the words of wisdom for this week and ask if they can run through their plan one more time, because I think that should be the words of wisdom for the week.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so the basic service plan for Bushman Heat and Air is $16 a month, and it comes with 2 visits, a winter visit and a summer visit. It includes the condensation line flush out if that applies to your unit. We change the filters if you have them, and then you also get a discount if there's any repairs for the year.
A 5% discount.
A 5%. If you want to go to the premium, that's $22 a month. The same perks, the same visits, except for your discount is 10% off if you have any repairs. And then you also do that. You get the special promotions we may have going on. Maybe there's a new thermostat out or something and we want to push that. It also means you get the priority booking, priority scheduling. So,
and 10%, if you have a compressor go bad, that's a $250 savings.
It's going to make a difference.
It really does. So
yeah,
it makes a huge difference on some of those bigger repairs, and even $10 or $15 on a condenser fan motor or blower motor is a big deal.
Every Thursday on our Facebook, we do a Thankful Thursday post. And so today we are going to give thanks to our moms because Mother's Day is coming up.
Yeah, thanks, Mom.
Yeah, Roxine is a great mom to Brandon, and Sharon is my mom. So we just want to give a shout out to them too. So,
folks, we thank the people of Bushman Heat and Air for coming on, but this might be a record. We are about to run right into our time. So, folks, until next time, have a good one.